Hi there, I'm Lebogang and
you are now watching Mzansi Business.
In today's video, I'll be talking about one of South Africa's biggest fast food restaurants, Licken. From giving us the legendary hot wings to delivering some of the most iconic and hilarious ads in South African history, including one that was too spicy and ended up being banned from television, and to ultimately becoming the biggest non-American fried chicken restaurant in the world. How did they do it? This is the story of Licken. Licken was founded by George Sombonos back in 1981, but we have to give the story some context. So let's go back in the timeline, Yana, to 1949 when George Sombonos was born. He was born to Greek parents who immigrated to South Africa during World War II. His father ran a cafe, and when George wasn't busy with school, he would help out around the cafe and would learn a lot from these early experiences. He graduated from Potchefstroom Boys High in 1966, and from there went to work at his father's roadhouse, the Dairy Den, in Ridgeway, south of Johannesburg. By the time he was 23, George was running the Dairy Den on his own after his father suffered a heart attack. In 1972, George's father sends him to the US to conduct research on how they can improve the roadhouse. Part of the research involved tasting 12 hamburgers and 20 chicken pieces every day. This brew had a job, ne? On one particular stop in Texas, he came across the best chicken he had ever tasted in his life. George invited the owner of the chicken outlet to dinner, and after some constant pestering, the chicken outlet owner finally agreed to sell him the recipe for $5,000. But there was just one problem. George only had $1,000 in traveler's checks, so he had to settle for a different, untested recipe and not the one that he actually wanted. So this was a huge leap of faith. He comes back to South Africa and he would mix up a batch of the coating along with these new secret ingredients, and he would secretly swap it with the one from his father's roadhouse. The new recipe was a huge hit with customers, that it effectively replaced the old recipe, and over the next 4 years, turnover at the Dairy Den grew from $25,000 a month to $200,000 per month. The Dairy Den would also be the first to introduce the drive-through restaurant concept in South Africa in 1976. George got the idea from the Wendy's restaurants in America. Also during the 70s, when apartheid was in full swing, black people couldn't eat at the Dairy Den, but George would serve them from their cars. The black population quickly became the restaurant's most loyal customer base. Some notable public figures that even came around include Winnie Mandela, Tokyo Sexwale, and Kaiser Motaung. In 1980, the lease for the Dairy Den comes to an end, and George renegotiated in his own name instead of his father's, essentially making him the owner of the property that his father's restaurant was in. This led George and his father to not see eye to eye, and his father not talking to him for 3 months. They would eventually reconcile, and his father would respect his business acumen. 1981, George is now gearing to launch his own restaurant, Golden Fried Chicken, but one of his waiters recommended the name Licken, and it stuck. The first restaurant was set up on the site of the Dairy Den, with its golden, crispy chicken as its flagship meal. They would get their chicken from Rainbow Chicken, and Robertson Spices were in charge of mixing spices for the company. George would even give the first 2 franchises away, which were in Soweto and Alexandra, in a desperate effort to develop quicker. 1982, KFC takes Licken to court for trademark infringement, arguing that Licken sounded too much like its slogan, "It's finger licking good." The judge didn't seem to think so and would dismiss the case. 1985, the company started franchising, which George would sell for 3,000 rands in the beginning. He would also help out every franchisee with 15,000 rands worth of equipment and stock to get the ball rolling, and he also didn't charge royalties for the first 4 months of operation. This means that George didn't make that much money, but he knew that playing the long game will eventually pay huge dividends in the future. In 1986, Licken hired an ad agency which suggested using Joe Mafela, an actor from the popular TV comedy series Scooter's Nice. Joe Mafela would come up with the Scooter's Nice jingle for Licken, which would become widely popular and would be used by Licken for over a decade.
Hey, this guy plays Pashash, man, bruh. Hey, what you doing, man? We can use this 10 seconds. Hey! Keep out of my dirty groove. Anyway, what can you get with 10 cents these days, huh? We can get a delicious, freshly made golden brown Licken loaf from Chicken Licken, huh? Only 10 cents? So what are we waiting for? Let's go!
You can get a delicious Licken loaf for an unbelievable 10 cents when you buy a happy tree for just R12.90.
1992, Chicken Licken launched hot wings, becoming the first restaurant to do so and even trademarking the name. And today, this is probably its most popular item on the menu. 1994, Chicken Licken trademarked the word soul, which is enforceable against restaurants and food vendors in South Africa. Chicken Licken, though, was only just seen as a township brand at this point, and post-1994 started facing declining sales as a lot of black middle class moved from the townships to suburbs and cities. So, Chicken Licken would just do exactly the same, and it also expanded into suburbs and cities. 2001, George's daughter Chantal Sombonos joins the company, where he would begin grooming her to take over the business. In the early 2000s, Chicken Licken ads would constantly feature themes of soul and the soul men with the big afros. In 2007, Chicken Licken was ranked second after KFC in the fast food and restaurant chains category in a top brand survey done by the Sunday Times. 2008, they opened a store in Botswana. However, I don't think this was the first store they had opened in the country. I have scoured the internet to find out when they first got set up in Botswana, but to no avail. 2011, Chicken Licken is listed as the largest non-American fried chicken franchise in the world in a study done by the Henny Penny Corporation. By 2013, Chicken Licken had 259 outlets and a few stores in Botswana. The company was selling more than 400,000 chickens and more than 5 million hot wings on a monthly basis. The company would also report an annual turnover of 1.3 billion rands. The company have attempted to establish a presence in other African countries, but have been unsuccessful. Outlets in Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Mauritius were closed down due to problems with franchisees, supply of chickens, electricity, and foreign exchange for ingredients. Outlets in Lesotho and Swaziland were also closed down due to unpleasant business experiences. Over the years, Chicken Licken has produced probably South Africa's most iconic ads and have been recognized significantly at the Lurie Awards, which some say are the Oscars of advertising. They have used various ad agencies over the years, but in the early days they used an ad agency known as Network BBDO, and as of 2016 it has been using Joe Public Agency. 2018, Chicken Licken did this reverse colonization ad that was deemed too spicy and even got banned from television. The ad is 2 minutes, so I won't be able to play it, but in a nutshell, Big John goes on an adventure by boat. While on his journey, he comes across various challenges, but finally arrives in Holland and proceeds to colonize the country. The reason the advert was taken down was because some people felt it made a mockery of the struggles of South African people against the colonization by the Europeans. Some other notable ads over the years have been this hot wings craving ad, and this one with the family in a bunker. There was also the Spoo 2.0 ad that was way ahead of its time with CGI graphics. To talk about recent ones, the Mazibuko ad that featured Gavin Hunt and Jomo Sono was absolute genius, as well as the fastest man in the world one. And they did so many brilliant ads, guys, so please forgive me for not covering all of them. I'm not exactly sure when they changed packaging, but at some point the company started using this mock-style Louis Vuitton packaging. Some notable menu items over the years has obviously been the hot wings, the sliders, the Rock My Soul, and the Big John burger. Not to mention the secret spicy sauce. The company also says it changes its menu every year. 2019, Chicken Licken tried to sue this vegan restaurant known as Oh My Soul over the use of the word soul in its name and marketing, but the judge sided with Oh My Soul in this David vs. Goliath battle. 2023, the Chicken Licken won the Laurie Award for Brand of the Year. This was actually the 7th year in a row they won this award. And its ad agency, Joe Public, was also named Agency of the Year. They would also partner with Puma Energy Botswana to open up Chicken Licken outlets at Puma retail stations. They would open up 3 stores that year, with plans to open up a minimum of 3 per year over the next 3 years. I would do my own small survey where I asked 10 ladies and 10 gents which restaurant they would rather go to between Chicken Licken and KFC. And the results may not be what you think. Chicken Licken got a grand total of 3 votes. Yeah, I know, right? And KFC obviously received a whole 17 votes. Yo, Chicken Licken, for what it's worth though, I would have chosen you guys. I didn't ask why the participants of this survey felt this way, but if I had to guess, KFC got the Twister, the legendary KFC bucket that slaps so hard after night drinking with the homies, the Crusher. The Zinger wings are pretty fire too, so I'd say they have more variety, but Chicken Licken is still a great alternative to KFC. And also please note, this survey that I conducted is by no means an accurate representation. There's also this 2024 report that ranked Chicken Licken as the 2nd most popular restaurant in South Africa in terms of customer numbers. And if you wanted to open up a Chicken Licken franchise today, you'd need about 180k for the franchise fee. You'd also need anywhere from 4.8 million to 6.8 million to build a store, buy equipment and whatnot. The company now have about 286 outlets in South Africa, as well as about 18 in Botswana, making it one of the biggest fast food retailers in the country. The company is now in the hands of Chantal Sombonos, with the family having about 10 owned stores. And that's a wrap for this video. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm so glad you could join us. I'm Lebogang, this is Mzansibizness, and I'm out. Peace.